Hello friends. Firstly, I must congratulate you for clicking on this video, because if you have clicked on this video reading the title, that in itself means that you are a conscious parent or trying to be a better parent. Otherwise, the topic wouldn't have attracted you. So I would, as the topic suggests, I take up a few things which I feel that going by my experience of observing, that these are the things parents should avoid doing or must not do. First, that I notice very frequently is that people usually think that children are just dumber versions of adults, which they are not. The adults, as they grow up, they pick up a lot of knowledge. So a lot of how this machine works, how would I do this? All of that is drilled inside of them. But that doesn't mean that the child in herself or himself doesn't have wisdom inside of them. They deserve the same kind of respect. There are certain things which would come to them with age. They'd learn to walk, they'd learn to talk, they would learn to talk more fluently. But that does not mean that they are not wise. Can we treat them as souls, as equal souls, as who must have journeyed through many lifetimes like we have, and maybe even journeyed through more lifetimes than us? I've seen sometimes the child can be a more evolved soul than the parent. So having that inside one, an attitude that this is also a soul in journey. So that would be one thing. Second is that disrespecting children is like kind of connected to the first one, but disrespect as in more of behavior, as in when we do not treat somebody as an equal, so we may interrupt when they are speaking, or we might call them names. Like even I would say that emotional abuse or physical abuse is an extension of it, the more grosser or violent form of it. But even disrespecting children, just as if your friend was talking and you would let the friend finish before chiming in, similarly I feel as we learn to respect our children also follow through. The third is again kind of related to the previous two, that practice what you're preaching. So if parents are teaching the children that you must have good manners and talk to each other politely, they must look at themselves. I would also suggest like record themselves so that they come to know that how are they speaking, what is their tone, what is their language, what are the words that they use for other people. Children learn most from example. They will pick up howsoever the parent is behaving. And if we go on telling them, don't spend too much time on the TV, go play some sports, while we ourselves are not doing these things, it's very unlikely that they will do it. So as also we learn to respect the children, or we learn to respect people around us, we speak to them nicely, children will also speak to us nicely. I feel that many times when children are disrespected, so they might kind of become aggressive and not respect the parent when they are a teenager, or they might become very, very docile. Another thing that I'd like to point out for the parents, and which can be like, I feel a useful thing to know, that children are very wise. They have that inherent wisdom inside of them, which is of course their soul knowing. But as a parent, the mistake that sometimes parents do is, or many a times, either they will give no boundaries to the child. So then again, if we come from this perspective, oh, they are very wise, they know everything, or with this perspective that my parent was very strict, now I'm going to be friends with my child. So then there are no boundaries for the child. Or they give too many boundaries. So there are so many rules, so many regulations, so many do's and don't. So both of these are extremes and they cause dysfunction in the child. There has to be boundaries for the child. Like for example, the child is going out, he's a teenager, and the boundary might be that you come back by 8 p.m. So it's not a blanket no that you can't go out ever, and it's not a blanket yes that go out and come whenever you like. So if for younger children, for teenagers, there has to be a balance between letting go and letting them. So when I feel when that balance is there, even in the younger years and in the older years for the children grow up also to be very balanced adults. So I feel that there is a lot that we learn in our interaction with the children by observing ourselves. When we are with our children, especially, we learn to be calm. We are poised, we are graceful, we are restrained, we are careful and aware about what we are speaking. The children will follow through. They will follow our lead, and they will similarly become careful with their speech as we take care of the spaces that we live in. They learn to imbibe that. My suggestion is also to provide them calm, beautiful spaces. Let your houses be calm and harmonious. Let your houses be beautiful. Let the spaces be clean. And as you do that for your child, the child will also blossom. Believe and trust in your child, and trust in yourself also. All the best for your journey in your parenthood. Thank you for listening.